Hello everyone. Today I have a public service announcement for you regarding Titanfall 2. This is going to be a bit of a blow-up, so grab your popcorn because it's rage time. I see a lot of people across YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Reddit all citing in-game weapon statistics when discussing weapons. I see comments like, the Mastiff does 80 damage, or the Carbine has a better accuracy score than the Volt. Respawn has a really bad habit of their weapon stats in-game being completely Looney Tunes in relation to what the guns actually do in practice, be it nondescript bars, arbitrary accuracy and range numbers that don't actually relate to anything, or damage numbers that are just flat out wrong. This is a problem that has plagued Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, Titanfall 1, and now, again, Titanfall 2. For example, the Carbine is listed with a damage statistic of 55, and by Carbine I mean R201, because apparently that still isn't clear to some people, so R201 is the Carbine, forever and for always. Anyways, what does 55 mean? Is it 55 points of damage? Is it 55% of pilot health and damage? Is it 55% of the maximum possible damage with any pilot weapon in the entire game? Does it mean that if the Kraber is listed at 100 damage, which it is, and the Carbine is listed at 55, that the Carbine does a little more than half the damage of a Kraber? Like, what does 55 mean? If it means 55 points of damage, how much health does a pilot have, or a grunt, or a specter, or a stalker, or a reaper, or a titan? How much health does every entity in multiplayer actually have? And how do I use this in-game damage number to actually garner some sort of information or knowledge? Like, if it tells me it does 55 damage, I have nothing to base that off of. That number's meaningless to me. What if pilots have 9 million health and my gun does 55 damage? How many bullets to kill is that? Because that's what I really care about, is how many bullets to kill. So the assumption at first is going to be that pilots have 100 health, and if you make that assumption, congratulations, you're correct. They do in fact have 100 health. That's confirmed by in-game files as well as the developers themselves. Surely then, the Carbine should kill in 2 shots, since 55 times 2 equals 110. Imagine the player's surprise then, when the gun actually kills in 4 shots. How could this be? Surely the game doesn't lie to me. Maybe players have 200 health like they did in Titanfall 1. That could make sense, since there's precedent for that being a thing. So let's pull out the Car SMG instead, which is listed as having 40 damage. Surely this is going to kill in 3 shots if pilots actually have 100 health, or it's going to kill in 5 shots if they have 200 health. Turns out it kills in 4 shots. So Respawn, what the hell? What's going on here? Why are your damage numbers completely not representative of what the guns actually do? Like, I could go on and on with this damage rant, but I have to stop it there. You guys get the point. The in-game values are wrong. If you don't believe me, then go and test them for yourself and you'll find these things to be true. Don't believe the in-game statistics. Don't rely on them. They make no sense. For Gaben's sake, the Car is listed as having 1 more accuracy point than the Longbow DMR, a sniper rifle, a hit-scan sniper rifle at that. What does 1 more point of accuracy even mean? What even is accuracy? Is it recoil? Is it spread? Is it the time it takes your gun to settle? What units is accuracy measured in? What are 10 accuracies? I don't know. This exact same logic can be applied to the other 2 statistics, range and fire rate. What is a range of 100 versus a range of 50? What does that actually mean? Is it a percentage again? Like the longest range weapon is having 100% of the possible best range statistics? That doesn't mean anything to anybody. That statistic is awful. Why can't you just come out and say that the damage maximum range and the damage minimum range are X and Y, and then show a simple graph of how much damage the selected weapon deals at a given range? Synthic is a great example of this, where they went and they manually did this for all the Titanfall 1 weapons, because again, the Titanfall 1 weapon selection screen was awful in this regard. If you could have access to every gun in the Gauntlet training area, and it showed just a really basic rangefinder along with a few targets sitting off in a field somewhere, suddenly the range value in-game starts to have some real meaning. It's actually helpful to people, and they can use that to learn their weapon of choice better, or to compare a brand new weapon to something that they're already familiar with. Fire rate, was so close to making sense, almost. When I was looking through the menus, I saw that some things were listed as having like 50 or 60 or 70. It's like, okay, that might be reasonable as a rate of fire or something, but after I looked at it for more than 5 seconds, I realized, no, that's ridiculous. So what is the fastest firing rate weapon I can think of in Titanfall 2, and what is that listed at? It's probably the R97, so let's go ahead and jump over to the R97, and look at that. 100 RPM.
What the fuck?
Respawn, I give up. This is so easy for you guys to get right, and you've gotten it wrong for years. And no matter how much I love you guys, I have to blow you up over this, because it's past the point of being ridiculous. The values presented in these menus are all grossly incorrect and not useful to anyone, and they don't represent your weapons truthfully at all. In fact, they lead a lot of players to drawing incorrect conclusions about weapons, and they choose really, really bad guns, or they'd use really, really good guns for all of the wrong reasons. This isn't the player's fault. They're using the resources provided to them in-game. It's not the player that's wrong. It's the developer for not giving them the tools to succeed. You're setting your players up to fail. At least the players that actually use these in-game statistics and believe them, because trust me, a lot of your players already know that these are so wrong and have been wrong for so long that they can't believe them, and they completely ignore these numbers and have, just no recollection of what you're listing them at in-game, because they don't mean anything. They're completely ignored. If they were correct, they would be used, and they would be appreciated very much. But people are used to it being wrong at this point, and I don't know how that's acceptable. If you want to see a much more well-organized, detailed, and factually correct representation of all the weapon stats in Titanfall 2, I recommend that you check out the Google Doc linked in the description below. I have absolutely no affiliation with this document whatsoever, so it's not like you're giving me ad rev by clicking my link or something. This is just a fan-made document that somebody else made that I've been using because I enjoy it and I feel that it is mostly correct and accurate. These values are all pulled from the in-game files, also known as VPKs, and I always verify them for myself in-game before reporting on them. So, as an example, the alternator video that I did a few days ago, or maybe even a week ago now, I don't remember, is an example of there being multiple disagreements between this site, VPKs, and some other fan sites on what the damage value actually was. And these values changed so much between all the different sources that I wasn't sure what it actually sat at, so I couldn't even report the damage statistic properly. Like, most guns on this document, anyways, before I get on another rant with that, a lot of these guns on this document seem pretty accurate, so this is a good baseline to use to get you in the right direction for actually choosing your gun. And I'm very disappointed that I have to suggest you use a resource outside of the game to better understand the things that are presented to you in-game, because the in-game presentation is just grossly incorrect. So, in summary, everyone, don't believe everything you've read on the internet. Load up a private lobby and test these things out for yourself, since that seems to currently be the only reliable way of at least getting the damage numbers close to somewhere reasonable. Don't even get me started on the tedium of calculating the rate of fire, or figuring out the exact damage drop-off ranges, or testing hipfire spray versus ADS spray, or how to create the universe, or whatever happened to Spyglass or Graves. Or does anyone even remember Demeter?